You ever look around and feel like you're living right in the middle of somebody else's mess? Like they came along and made the mess, but left you here to clean it up. And I know I have. And honestly, I kind of feel like that right now. And if you feel like that, well, just know, people, you're not alone. There are a lot of us out here feeling like that. And I've been reading what you had to say down in the comments on the last video. First off, people, let me say this. I really do appreciate each and every single comment that you left down there. I want you to know that I do read them. I take the time to go down there and read them. And I want you to know that I recognize you and I see you and I realize the struggles that most of us are facing in this country every day. And I want you to know too, people, these aren't just our struggles. I mean, they're not just mutually exclusive to you and I, because we tend to like to try to personalize stuff. The reality is these are struggles that men across this whole country are facing every single day. The problem, I guess, is that it just doesn't seem like it's getting any better. And to me personally, it feels like they're starting to get worse. And I want to be as honest as I can because we're all men here. Let's just call it out for what it is. A lot of us feel like we helped to build this country, and now we're forced on the outside looking in. And I mean, I know personally, I worked hard as hell and I made a lot of sacrifice. I played by all the rules and I didn't do anything wrong. But it's funny how when shit hits the fan, we're somehow the first people blamed. Why is that? Why is there an attack on manhood all of a sudden? And for me, it just goes so much deeper than frustration. That's the best word I could come up with, people. It's almost like getting slapped in the face while somebody snatches the ladder up, and all the while they're looking down at you, sneering and laughing and saying, well, why didn't you climb faster? How? And it's interesting, though. I noticed as I sat there and looked back through those comments, that those comments were from men from different states and backgrounds and all different ages. But there was one common thread amongst them that I kept coming back over. And it was funny because it wasn't about people losing their jobs or rising prices or even about how much society's changed since we were kids, you know? Most of it was about dignity, just our dignity as men. And I had to agree because, I mean, after all, is it wrong for us to want to be recognized for all the hard work and the wisdom and the years that we've put in? I don't believe so. And something else struck me as odd too, people. It's not just our generation that's feeling this way. It's the generation behind us. They're trying to climb up on that same old broken down ass ladder with the missing rungs, but this time it's got even more rungs missing. And I don't know. I wonder about a lot of stuff. But here's an idea that I had that I don't hear get kicked around enough. What if we were to stop waiting for them to lower that ladder back down for us and we started to build some steps ourselves? I mean, after all, if you really stop and think about it, maybe the answer that we're all waiting for isn't in chasing after something that's already long gone. You know, maybe it's time for us as men to step up and build something for ourselves. Something that'll last beyond us, something that will last and be around for the next generation coming up behind us. And I'm pretty sure, people, that if enough of us got together and wrapped our minds around this idea, we could come up with something workable. I mean, after all, let's be honest, most of us has been building shit our whole lives. And they do say two heads are better than one. The reality is we just don't talk about this kind of stuff enough, you know? We let them, the powers that be, you know, promise to change the system, but maybe it's just me. Nothing ever really seems to get done. Just a lot of hot air and promises. And make no mistake about it, we all know that day-to-day grind, that struggle is real. When those bills start to stack up and when it seems like nobody appreciates you or respects you anymore, and we still got to show up and handle your business. And let me touch on one more thing too while I'm ranting. We as men, we tend to hold way too many things inside. And you know, I get it. I'm of a certain age too. That's just the way that we were raised, and that's the way that most of us were taught. But let me ask you this: what good does bottling up a lot of emotions and stress and problems do for us besides harm us? I mean, at some point, that stress and all that bottled up emotions, they got to come out some kind of way. And they come out in different ways. You know, they can affect your marriage or your family relationships, hell, your sleep, even your health. And maybe it's time then we start to learn ways to, I don't know, unburden or unload some of that weight off of us. You know, we'd be surprised at how many men are out here walking around with a fuck ton of problems on them and not even talking about it. And then if we do decide to talk about it, and I've learned this, it doesn't make us weak people. It just makes us human, you know? We have been taught not to display emotions as men. At least I was. Now, no, I'm not going to go out in front of my fucking house and start weeping like a little girl. That's not going to happen. But if I'm around some other men who I deem to be men, some fellow souls, as I like to call them, you know, and we decide to talk about shit that's on our mind or stuff that's bothering us, you know, I'm good with that. I don't have a problem with that. And I think that we need to quit trying to shoulder the whole world by ourselves, you know. It's easier if 12 people help carry a boat than one person try to carry that boat by themselves, you know. Maybe we need to try to reach out and powwow and get together and commune or whatever and not try to carry all that weight alone. And I oddly enough, we're talking about relieving stress. One of the best ways I found to relieve stress, and maybe this is just me, it's going to sound weird now, that's to help a younger person. And I think that comes from the mindset that we were raised to hand down things to the next generation. And I haven't been able to do that because my daughters won't listen to shit. They think they know everything. And I don't remember being like that coming up, but times have changed and we can't raise kids the way we were raised. It's not even legal anymore. And a lot of you know what I'm talking about. But I've come to find out, man, that if I can help another young person make their walk, their trek easier, you know, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I'm doing part of my job as a man, you know. So go out there, man. Hey, try it and see. Go out there and share what you know. Mentor somebody. Teach a kid how to build something, or I don't know, teach him a life lesson so he doesn't have to learn it the hard way, or just listen. A lot of times people want to talk and they don't want you to try to fix them or offer advice. They just want you to simply listen. They want somebody to talk to, somebody to vent. Now, I've had buddies of mine come and we have a couple cocktails and just talk, man, you know. In reality, here at Man to Man, we have a whole community. So if you have any problems, issues, or whatever, you just need an ear, you know, come on in, man. We're here for you. You know, and also too, people, this world has gotten so damn fast paced and everything is instant gratification this and fast food and instant this, you know. Step away from all that noise when you get a chance, man. You know, go de-stress, as I like to call it. Go for a walk or get in your truck and park in the park and just listen to some music, or hell, go fishing or whatever chills you out. Just do it and do more of it, you know? And we got to learn to find our victories where we can. And that's in the small stuff if need be, you know? Sometimes it's the smallest little things, man, that can bring you happiness. I'll give you an example. You know, if you're here, you're getting a story. So that's just part for the course. So this was last winter. We live in Indiana, so this weather's here is fucking unpredictable. It can be 71 day and 32 the next. So we're going downtown, me and my wife. And mind you, snow and ice on the ground, and they've plowed, but it's iced back over. And we stop, and I see this lady, older lady, and she's pulling this little cart behind her, man, with groceries in it. Like she's been to the grocery store somewhere around there. And I'm watching this lady struggle to pull this fucking little cart over these ice humps that are in the street. And it just, it did something to me, man. It hurt me so bad that I had to actually leave my truck and go out and get that cart and help that lady across the street. She was just going to the bus stop across the street, but I just felt so bad for her that we live in a country this fucking rich with this many resources, and we're able to give money to other countries, billions of dollars. That's our money, taxpayer money. But this lady here has to come out in the fucking snow and ice to go to the grocery store. We can't provide a ride for her. But anyway, it did. It hurt me, man. So I got out and I helped her across the street. And she thanked me, but she didn't have to, you know. And just that little act, man, that made me feel so good for the rest of the day, man. You know, just being able to help somebody who had less than I did. Now, let me explain this too. Now, I was an asshole for the rest of the day, though. I was just being myself. But for that particular moment, I was a good guy. And I'm not telling you to go out here, man, and go all out of your way or give away all your money. Don't give away any money. I'm not doing that. But help someone where you can, man. You know, mentor a kid or give some advice or make someone's track a little easier in life, man. Trust me, that shit works. So now let me ask you something, man to man. You see what I did there? Man to man. What's one step you wish someone had built for you to make your trek in life easier? And what's one that you can start building now to help the next man? Drop your answers, down in the comments, and let's talk about this, man. Let's discuss. Let's keep this flow of information open and going, man. I'm enjoying this. I really am, because I don't get to talk to a whole bunch of real dudes that I deem as real men who've been through a lot of stuff and still out there plugging and getting it done. I love reading those comments, man. And all of them are positive. There's a couple guys who've got things to say that I totally, absolutely disagree with. But you know what? They have a right to that opinion. I'm going to read them and I'm going to answer them and I'm going to take them into consideration. After all, people, we all have a commonality. We're not alone in this, So let's continue to build this community together, man to man, I think it's going to be a really beneficial thing for all of us. And I love seeing all that feedback down in the comments. And just know, too, we're men. We're from different walks of life and hell, probably different races and different everything. And we're never going to agree on everything. But what we can do is agree to disagree. I'm going to listen to your opinions and I'm going to respect that. And you do the same with me. Hey, get along just fine. And don't think you can outfish me, because there's not many men in this country who can outfish Unc. Just play. So come on in, fellas. Anytime you want, take your shoes off, pull up a chair, stay a while, make yourself at home, comment, whatever, man. Let's just hang out. And let's help each other out as much as possible. You may know a lot of shit I don't know. If you see me slipping, you let me know. If I catch you slipping, I'll let you know. And as always, people, I appreciate you being here, letting me get in your ear and waste your time. And I hope you got something beneficial out of this. And like I said, any comments or any suggestions, anything you want to know about, drop it down in the comments and we'll get on it. As always, I'm Monk. Take care of yourself and each other. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everybody.